Hey y'all, this is Dina. Welcome to my channel. Okay, so I'm coming to you today with something a little bit different. This is something that I created. I've been thinking about doing this, but I finally had a little extra time and I decided to go ahead and give it a try and see what I could come up with. Okay, so what I made is, it's kind of TN inspired, a little bit smaller in width, but a little bit longer. This one measures 7 1/4 by 6, of course, so that makes it 12 on your page. But anyway, what it is for is to hold embellishments. It will hold stickers, it will hold cut apart cards, just anything you want. And this is what I actually came up with. You can see this right here. I have a pocket over here, and I made 2 folders inside here, and I just could put some cute paper on top to kind of give them some little bit of, just to divide it a little bit. Okay, so this is the first one, and as you can see, here's my clear sleeves that I used, and they open up from the top. If you've watched any of my videos before, you can see I have a tutorial where I made some notebooks where I sewed the middle, and I went ahead and did that with these. So it was 5 sheets, 5 plastic sheets or sleeves, so that made 10 pages, and I did this with 2 sections. Now, if I only have 2 of the bands or elastic in here, you can do 3 if you want, but I just chose to do 2. And on the back, here's another plastic sleeve, or actually a way that you can store things. Okay, so first, before I get started on this, I do want to say that I didn't totally think this up on my own. I was inspired by watching a video from a very sweet friend. Her name is Nadine, and she is the Crafty Creations. That is her YouTube channel. Check her out if you haven't. But she hasn't done a tutorial on this, but she made some, and I thought it's a great idea, so I decided to try to do something similar to what she did, but just make it my own. So anyway, so let's get started. Okay, so I went ahead and I pre-cut my paper, and it's 12 by 7 1/4. Okay, and I went ahead and I have scored it at 5 3/4, 6 and 6 1/4. So divide it in the middle by at 6, and then 1/4 inch on each side. Okay, so now we are going to laminate this first, and I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pretty pink on the outside. I kind of like this pink and white. You can choose to do what you want. I choose to use double-sided paper. You do not have to, but I just thought that I just think it kind of makes it a little bit more fun. Make it better good score. Okay, so you're gonna have a small spine here, as you see. Okay, so you can at this point you can round the corners. I choose not to do that, but you can do that as well if you would like. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we need to laminate this. Now, most laminating sleeves are shorter than what the paper that I cut. So I'm going to use 2 pieces of laminating. Okay, let's get this out of the way. So let me show you how I did this. Because I didn't want to have to cut my sleeves down on one end and try to solder it back together or whatever, I decided to try it this way. So let me make sure I got my thing folded good. So what I did, I'm gonna put this inside my laminating sleeve. I got my laminator all ready to roll, and I'm gonna put this inside my laminating sleeve all the way to the edge, the best that you can. Now, because this is like 11 inch and the paper is like 12, I'm gonna have to use two sleeves, and that's pretty easy. It just made it thicker in the end. So let me see. I got some plastic already cut, so I can make some little pockets. Okay, so this is just the piece of the laminating plastic, and I cut it at 3 inches by 7 1/4. And how you make your pocket is by, as you see, this is the shiny side, and this is more of a dull side. This has the adhesive on it. So what I'm going to do is put the dull side up. And I'm going to put this all the way over to the corner the best that I can. And then I'm going to take another one of my laminating sheets, and I am going to put this in here, get this all the way over to the edge just like I did the other one. And you want to make sure that you have this as close to the edge as you can, or as close to the side, because you want to be able to put this flush up in here. Okay, so I've got my one strip over here so I can make my pocket, and then I'm going to put one on this side. Remember, dull side up, so I can make my pocket for this side. Okay, so now I'm going to take my laminating sheet and I'm going to fold it over, and then I'm going to take the other side of my laminating sheet, fold it over. So now I'm going to have like double laminating. It's going to be very sturdy, y'all. Okay, so bear with me a moment and let me stick this through my laminator, and then we'll be ready to roll. So it's rolling through my laminating machine. This takes a minute. If you do not have a laminating machine, you can use, there are some laminating sheets that got adhesive on them, and you just kind of stick it down and seal it up that way. So if you don't have the laminating machine, it's all good. You can still do this project. Just use different laminating sheets that are self-adhesive. Now I find that this one, the laminating machine itself, works better as far as keeping your tin more sturdy, and it won't peel off as well, as long as you don't cut this too short. Okay, so here we go. This is what I've got. I got 2 pieces of laminating on there, and I've got my my little plastic things inside to make my pocket. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to trim this off, and I usually trim mine at the 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to line it up on my 1/8 of an inch, and let me bring this down a little bit. 1/8 of an inch. And quickly trim that off. As you see, there you go, I trimmed it off. And then I'm going to do this and get this one trimmed off. Okay, so as you see, I don't need to trim the ends because I laminated them inside. Okay, so now let's see here, that looks pretty good. Okay, so let's just keep going. Here we go. Now, where I had my score marks, I can actually do my folding again on there. But first, I'm going to slit open where I put these strips inside there. That way, then I have my pocket for each side. So I'm going to take my X-Acto knife. Let's see if I can dig that up. I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, and I am going to line my ruler up. And you can look, if you look really good, you can see the line under there where that adhesive is upside, or the laminating sheet is upside down. That's where you want to cut. So I'm going to line this up. If you can see this, I'll try to do this quickly so you can see what I'm doing. Because you're going through like 2 sheets of laminating, just see that turned out perfectly. That was really good. I'm going to do this side. Sometimes you have to do a little bit pressing too hard, but you don't want to cut through where your paper is. Just use your X-Acto knife and There you go. Let's see how this one looks. Perfect. I love it. That don't happen often. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give my cover a little fold. You don't have to fold that middle one if you don't want to. See, this is a little bit harder to crease because I put 2 laminating sheets, but it's all good. Okay, so there you go. So now I have my cover with pockets. How easy is that? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my hole punch, and you wanna punch your hole up a little bit. Now I use this one, and this one's like up about 1/4 of an inch or so up. And I always put my holes like in the center of where the 2 creases are. That's where I do it. Some people do it like on the crease, but I'm gonna do it kind of like in between as close as I can. Now this is an EK Successes hole punch. I like this because it has a guide on there, and so I always have my holes lined up correctly. Okay, so let me do this side. And there we go. So now I got my holes. Now I'm gonna need to make my center hole. Let me grab my hole punch really fast. And I'm just gonna use my crocodile, and I'm gonna use my, let's see, 1/8 of an inch hole. And I'm just gonna eyeball it and get myself a hole in the center, on the center line where I scored. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just eyeballing it. Give myself a center hole there. Okay, so now I'm going to take some of my elastic, and let me see which kind of elastic I have. I think that I'll just do a black on here because I don't have, well, let me see if my pink, I might have enough of this pink, so let me try it. Okay, so what I did is I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to go through the back. I think that this might be enough. If not, I'll pull it out and add some more. Perfect. That's just enough. I don't know how I managed that one. And then now, some people might want 3 of these here, but I'm just going to do 2 folders with 2 sections of my sleeves. So I'm just going to do 2. You can do 3 if you want, whatever you prefer. So there we go. I'm going to tie this in a triple knot. We want it to stay well. And then we're just going to trim this off. Okay, so now I'll have it, and you can see where these are up here. Okay, so now I'm going to use my other one. I think I'll have to do a white for the outside. Let me check and see. Actually, I'm gonna have to, I have a pink. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use this one. I had already pre-tied a knot in it. See if I can get this through the hole. And then I don't have to worry about having to tie the knot. Now let me get something that I can push this through with. I will use my nifty little gadget here to push these through. Because sometimes if I don't have a bigger hole, which I don't want a bigger hole, it's kind of hard to get it through. Let me see if I can pull this through. Perfect, y'all. And I think this will work great. It did. You can put an embellishment up here if you want. But for the sake of the video, we're just going to do it like this. Now, I love, love, love this paper. Okay, so we want to do this one as the front because we want the pineapples to be standing in the correct direction. We're done. Now, the folders. And I'm going to put that aside. Got that ready. And let me see now. Our folders are going to, let me get my paper. I'm going to do 2 folders. And let's see here. Oh, and by the way, y'all, today I'm using a DCWV Girls Rule paper pad. This particular one was in my other Good Eats paper pad. But this one, for this particular one I'm doing, is Girls Rule. So let me see about what I want to do. Oh, I kind of like this. I like this because it kind of has the matching colors for the front and the inside. And I kind of think this will do good too. Okay, I'm going to do that. That seems to work just fine. Maybe, maybe, maybe not. Okay. So now I'm going to take my cutting, my cutter, and I am going to make my folders. I'm going to make them not exactly 12, but I'm going to make them actually 11.5 by 6.5. So that's 11.5, and this one's going to be 6.5. Sorry about the noise, y'all. Okay, so I got one, and I'm going to just fold it in half. That's all you're going to need. Fold it in half. This. Let's get the other one. And I'm going to do a 6.5. And now I'm going to do 11.5. Because I don't want my folders to hang over the edge. And if they are still hanging over the edge a little bit, just trim it off. It's all good. So I'm going to go ahead and give these a fold. Okay. So now I got my 2 folders. So now what you need to do is you need to take your plastic, I don't know, page protectors. I got these off of Amazon. I think I paid $6 for them. I'm going to take 10 sheets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and I need one more. That way each page, each section has 5, but then when you fold them in half, it makes 10. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these down, and I'm going to cut them down to 6.5. So just hang on with me for a minute, and I'm going to cut these down to 6.5. So what you're going to do is make sure this side is sealed closed. This side is the open side, so make sure that's the side you cut. I'm going to do a 6.5. I'm just going to trim this off. And I'm gonna stop the video for 1 sec, and I'm gonna go ahead and trim the rest of these down so you don't watch me do 10 of them. So I'll be right back, y'all. Okay, y'all. So I've cut down my 10, and as you can see, my 10 pages, I have the whole top is open. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these where I have like 5 pages stacked up together. So I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure that you're gonna stitch these correctly. Okay. So I've got my 5. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I just want to make sure I didn't do too many. 3. Okay. So what I did is I used my Clover Wonder clips to hold my pages together. That way then I can go quickly sew them. Okay, so let me put my clips on the top. And actually, before I do that, let me show you one thing what I did. So you're able to have a good crease and you can sew down exactly in the middle. I just kind of folded it in half, gave it a crease. That way then when I go and sew it, I see exactly where I need to sew. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just use the clips to kind of hold this in place so when I stick it on my sewing machine, it's all good here. And one more. Now let me prepare the other one. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the 5th one right here. Make sure the openings are all the same direction. Okay, for this one, let's not forget, we need to fold it in half so we can get that crease. There we go. Get my crease. I'm gonna use my clips because this is the best way because these things are slippery little things. Now, you could skip this whole step if you want and not sew them and just put them behind the elastic enclosure, but I want them to stay together. And I don't want my stuff going from one side or another, so if I sew down the middle, then I'll have it where everything stays in each pocket. Okay, so I will be right back after I sew the seam down the middle. Okay, y'all. So I am back. Get these clips off. Okay. Okay, so as you see, I sewed down the center. Give this a good crease. You want to make sure it's a really good crease. Now, if I wanted to, I could have sewed the cover that I made, the little folder cover to this, but I'm just gonna do it like this, okay? So now what I'm gonna do, y'all, this is so fast, isn't it? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these, make sure you got your openings on the right edge here. And I'm just gonna kind of put this in the center. I'm gonna put that in there. Got my other one. Put this in here. Now make sure I got it the right way. Yep, I do. Put this in here. And there we go. Look, y'all. Look at that. There you go. Isn't that cute? I love the pink and white. I really do like that a lot. Okay, so here we go. When you open it up, you've got a pocket here. You've got 2 sections of the plastic sleeves that your stuff will not be able to go to the other side because you've sewed it. So that means you've got 10 pages. And then on this one, we've got another section with another 10 pages. And then back here, we have our folder. Now you can put all kinds of stuff in here, your embellishments, your cut aparts, your stickers, whatever you want, you can put it in here. And there you go. So now I got 2. Isn't that cute? I love it. They are so cute, y'all. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this and maybe you're inspired to make this as well. I kind of played around with it and decided, you know what, I'm just gonna try to play around with this and see if I can figure out how to do this, because what Nadine, when she made this on her channel or made one to show on her channel, it was like, oh, such a great idea. She is so talented. So hey, y'all, don't forget to go check her out. She's at the Crafty Creations. Her name is Nadine, and she's truly a talented lady. But anyway, I hope that you like this. Maybe you're inspired to make these little TNs as well. And I don't know what we're gonna call these. TNs for embellishments, maybe? I don't know. Whatever you want to call them, that's all good. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna let you go, and until my next video, I guess I'll see you later. Bye, y'all.